The subject of the day fundamentally is being a decent man enough? Being a decent man isn't sufficient, nor is being a decent lady enough. I'm sorry assuming that comes as news to you. I'm grieved assuming that is disturbing to you. However, I'm letting you know here if no other person has at any point told you, let me be quick to tell you. Being a decent man or a decent lady isn't sufficient. Allow me to clear up for you why. Each and every individual who believes himself to be a decent man, in the event that you believe yourself to be a decent man, a strong fella, a productively utilized, tax-paying strong resident, never truly caused problems. Individuals simply say you are a pleasant person. You believe you're a decent man, and you think ladies ought to want you, perhaps not the perishing pieces. You realize those high supermodel sort of girls that want to wed rulers and eminence, not the type that are dealing with folks making numerous $1 million per year. Those sort of ladies are perhaps not in my reach, but rather ladies who are 6 or an 8 or a 9. I'm a decent man, and those ladies ought to want me. Allow me to let you know something, men. Being a decent man, who told you that's enough? Serious talk. Who told you that was sufficient? You can take a gander at an individual's life. You can see where they halted. Many individuals halted at secondary school. Secondary school was the last time someone set a demand for you. In the event that you're simply a secondary school graduate and have some work, you're out there doing your thing. Certain individuals say secondary school isn't sufficient. They need to head off to college. That is where they quit creating. Take a gander at your life and say, where did I stop? That is where you believed was sufficient. Take a gander at your life and see where you halted and you suspected as much was sufficient. It couldn't be any more obvious. People, regardless of whether they need to just let it out, know that they ought to be sufficient for most of individuals. Most people think, I'm adequate. On the off chance that's not the case, you take care of business. In the event that you didn't figure you ought to be sufficient or adequate to most of individuals, you take care of business. For instance, why did you attend a university? For what reason did you head off to college? Because you didn't think secondary school was sufficient. Whether it was your thought, whether your folks thought, or another person, it was some place in your logic. Somebody in your life was like, you know what, high school is here, but you get this kind of outcome with high school. If you want to get a chance to get ahead or do better or whatever, assuming that you need more, you got to accomplish other things and you got to attend a university. Why'd you go to the military? Because secondary school wasn't sufficient. Everybody pursues a decision, but you take a gander at what the last thing you quit doing was. Where did you stop? Where did you suspect as much was adequate? I will tell you, paying little heed to whoever told you there was sufficient. It's not enough to simply be a decent man. It's not enough to be a pleasant fella. It's not enough to be a strong resident. That is not enough, not if you have any desire to have your pick of ladies. That is and consistently has been the truth. When has it, at any point, been sufficient just to be a good guy? Name me a time of history when it was sufficient to simply be a good guy. See, a great deal of times we return an express. Some time ago, quite a while back, a person just needed to go to work. I figure out the contention, but ladies likewise didn't have free agencies. They didn't have a decision. Let me rethink the inquiry. When has it at any point been sufficient to simply be a nice guy when ladies really had a decision? You can be a veggie lover, but if you really wind up getting up tomorrow on an island where the main thing to eat is meat, you'll figure out how to eat that meat. The entire issue here is decision, like it or not. Today, individuals have options, you really do, and so do ladies, and it isn't sufficient to be a nice guy. This is the thing that annoys a great deal of folks, saying, you know what, I'm a good guy and that ought to be sufficient. It is simply one more approach to saying, I'm excessively lethargic to do anything more, and I would rather not work any longer. Allow me to flip the contention up. You fly off the handle when ladies say, simply acknowledge me as on. This entire overweight acknowledgement culture and all the other things. A great deal of men thinks indeed that is simply one more method of ladies letting us know we need to acknowledge them being flabby and various things, and we stand up against that. It's exactly the same thing about being good enough, and women also don't. Women, I will get to you in a moment, but I will do it in adoration. You should holler, you really want to get yourself adequate to get what my CIA mean. In all actuality, folks, looks do matter. Looks matter a ton to ladies, not only ladies of color, but all ladies. I have this point called Suit Saturdays where I say hello, simply toss in a suit on Saturday and see what occurs. I strolled around wearing that yesterday, and wherever I went, individuals halted me. 3 fine ladies come up and said, Excuse me, I simply need to ask you, where are you from? I mean fine Asian girls and 2 African American ladies. I gazed upward and I'm like it simply because I was wearing a suit and a turtleneck. It's anything but an issue of information, folks. Stop and think for a minute. It's anything but an issue of information. It's anything but a question of data. It's merely, 1, you don't feel like you ought to need to get it done. That is one thing that I realize men need to move past. I don't care a lot what you like or could do without. I don't care a whole lot what you feel like you ought to or shouldn't need to do. I don't care a whole lot in the event that you're not content with the results. On the off chance that you're not content with the results, you need to accomplish something in an unexpected way. I do as well, and it isn't sufficient to be a decent man. Assuming you believe that since you got a decent FICO rating, you earned a college education, a working class work, credit cards, taking care of your own bills, conquers ladies taking a gander at you, and not being physically drawn in. You have another damn thing coming. Looks do matter. Appearance matters. Intimate science matters, name matters, body matters. It's not enough to simply be a nice guy and think lovely ladies will want you. You can't do anything with the hereditary lottery. You look at the manner in which you look. I mean, your face is how it is. You can take care of your hair, the hair on your head. You can take care of the glasses all over to the cap on top of your head. You can't necessarily do something about your height. You are the height you are, but you can do something about the shoes on your feet. You can constantly take care of your body. You can get yourself in the exercise center, or you could do what Hershey Walker did. Try not to head out to the exercise center, do some push-ups, pull-ups, squats, crunches. Folks, we must tell the truth. Do you seem to be a man that a lady could want to be physically intimate with? The number of you all really say, he's right, I'm not doing what's needed. I recently believed being a nice guy is sufficient, and they ought to want me. No, they don't, and they won't ever have. They won't. Ladies need gorgeous, great-smelling, positive sentiment men as well, and assuming that you imagine that you will hold on until you're 40 or 50, and believe it's out of nowhere going to change, and the economy will make ladies need you. Let me feel free to be genuine. It doesn't matter at all to me what occurs in the following flood of economy. Ladies will be okay for quite a while, basically for your lifetime. There is no destructive occasion, short from a zombie end times, that will turn ladies that are passing on bits of fine ladies from needing that to picking you.